Well, hello, friends. Welcome to Investment Immigration Conversations. I'm your host, as ever, Carolyn Lee of Carolyn Lee PLCC, a U.S. immigration law firm dedicated to helping clients achieve their dreams, build their futures with investment immigration. Today, I'm really pleased to be joined by my good friend, Benjamin Eisenring of Passport Legacy. Passport Legacy is a firm based in Dubai specializing in citizenship by investment to over 10 countries around the world, including countries with whom the United States enjoys E2 treaties like Grenada, Turkey, and Montenegro. But I thought I would share how I got to know Passport. I have a wonderful client from Nigeria. We work very closely together on his EB-5 visa. And I knew that he also had a Grenadian passport, and he always spoke very highly of the professionals who helped him and his family get this Grenadian passport. He mentioned that whenever they were in the area, they made a point of visiting Lagos and seeing him. They communicated with him constantly, asked about how he was doing, even after the work was done. It was those personal touches, the responsiveness, and the constant communication. And the client mentioned whenever he's in Dubai, he makes a point of visiting them as well. So it's this relationship building with the client that we service professionals really aspire to. So when I was exploring citizenship by investment industry and the CBI to E2 pathway, I reached back out to my Nigerian client and I asked him to introduce me to these professionals whom he spoke so highly of. And that is how I got to know Passport Legacy and Benjamin. So Passport is an inspiration to me personally in client service and relationship building. And Benjamin, I must report to you that in no small part to that inspiration, attributing to that, our fabulous EB-5 Nigerian client, our mutual client, is now our E2 client as well. So I thank you for your inspiration and for your dedication to our client. So with that introduction, I have some questions for Benjamin. To tell us about Passport Legacy first and about what he's seeing in the CBI industry from his perspective. So first, Benjamin, welcome.
Thank you, Caroline, very much for having me in this call and having this discussion with me and this questioning, which I'm very happy to tell you a little bit about Passport Legacy, what we do and how we successfully operate and help investors and clients, mainly with a restricted passport, to become a citizen of the world. First, perhaps a small background about who is Passport Legacy. We are a Swiss company, such as myself. We are a boutique company since we are specializing and mainly focusing always with the end goal of having a direct contact to the client and 24/7 availability whatsoever the client is in need of. Our clients are investors and families who have and were born with a restricted passport, but seek visa-free travel or even relocation, such as with the help of the beautiful E2 treaty visa.
Fantastic. And Benjamin, you are a director, one of the partners in Passport Legacy. So what is your role vis-a-vis the client and the process?
That's correct. So one of my major roles is to ensure that all client advisors have a smooth and guarantee a smooth and available a smooth process to the clients in order for them to be available, for them to show them and help them to collect the required documents to prepare and complete a full citizenship application. And of course, always search for new availabilities and new routes to make for the client the process smoother, more straightforward, and in less time.
That's fabulous. So I see your role as one where you're engaged with the client's journey, the process, and making sure that every step of the way that is going as it should to your high standards. And then at an even higher level, looking at the process and looking for ways to optimize that process overall for all your clients.
It's fully correct. I could not say it in better words. This is exactly what we aim and what we work for, since, of course, our priority is to obtain a second citizenship or a second residency for our client, while based on the major goal of ensure a smooth process for the client itself.
This is why we get along so well. We share values. So tell us a little bit about your background personally, and that of your partners. So if we were sitting together having a beer together, and I wanted to know about you, Benjamin, what would you tell me?
I would tell you that my partners and myself, we were all born in Switzerland. We were happy to enjoy a Swiss education. Myself, I studied banking and finance at the University of Zurich. But then we have experienced, due to all personal reasons, that there are people in the world who are traveling a lot, having huge issues with relocation or getting a visa, and we wanted to help and saw an opportunity with these restricted programs called citizenship by investment programs, which allow people to obtain such a passport or a residence and solve their certain issues. And we have now relocated our main and headquarters to Dubai, and now I'm talking out of our Dubai office.
Well, how did this idea come about? So you guys are very well educated, smart, promising, bright, young Swiss gentlemen. So how did you guys think, okay, so we're going to go to Dubai and do citizenship by investment? How did that come about?
So it's actually a fun fact that my old neighbor, he was a managing partner of a citizenship investment company here in Dubai. And so we met on another day when he visited Switzerland 5-6 years ago. We have met and decided that this could be a very interesting opportunity. And the owner of Passport Legacy, Jeffrey Henseler, decided then as the first one to relocate to Dubai, work together, and then open Passport Legacy with myself and the others.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. So you guys are living this migration across different worlds experience that your clients are.
Exactly. We try to do the best, but of course we must say we are not staying the majority of the time in Dubai. We are traveling a lot to the countries where our clients are from and where they have mainly their source of business and income, and help them on the ground physically and in person to process the application, collect the documents, answer questions, give security in personal meetings, and make sure they have a smooth process.
I think that's tremendous. And I think that's one of the aspects of what you do and how you do it that distinguishes you, the on the ground contact with the client and working with them locally. And it's quite brave as well. I mean, especially now, I know you just got back from travel to different countries, and with COVID, you know, it's almost an act of courage to travel as you do. So
I agree.
As well.
I agree. It requires you to structure your travel way more in terms of having always a negative PCR result, stay healthy, and have the measurements applicable while still meeting, even if not possible, the clients.
Well, it's incredible the travel that is happening now. I mean, certainly in 2020, there was a lot less, but you know, just speaking with our shared clients, they are traveling a lot. I mean, you know, I'm just thinking of one with whom I spoke yesterday, and she's in the 5 or so months we've known each other, she's been to London twice from Nigeria. She's been to the States at least 2 or 3 times, and there's more travel to come before the end of the year. So the client is traveling a lot.
I agree. It is also, of course, important to know that African clients, they need to travel very frequently to Europe or the States in order to keep business going, having new contracts and generate business. This is a very important point. While on the other side, business travels are easier if you don't need to apply a visa, and that's why they, at the end of the day, come to us for assistance.
And that is exactly why they do, because they do need to travel no matter what. And
Correct.
their restricted passports just don't work with that.
Exactly.
So speaking of travel and the clients need to have more free travel, where are the hot spots, if you will, that you're seeing? What are the areas in the world with emerging or high CBI demand?
Most highest CBI demand, there are actually a few countries, if I may say so, especially China. There is a huge demand from China, Russia, Bangladesh, India, but we mainly focus. Also, there is a very high demand in West Africa, such as Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Guinea. And this is also why we have an office in Nigeria itself, in Lebanon, and in Pakistan, and of course, Dubai.
And how do you, when you say China and Russia, you know, I think, well, that makes perfect sense. You know, their travel is restricted. There's tremendous wealth there. These are big countries. How do you identify the more niche opportunities? Like, I remember when we spoke a year or so ago, you had just come back from Pakistan. And I wouldn't have thought Pakistan or Guinea or, you know, these more far-flung markets. How do you find them? How do you think, okay, so this is where we should pivot to?
Mainly, and how it always starts is with 1-2 clients from a country where you can find out that there is a demand, and you talk with them, you experience their issues in their life and see, okay, they have a problem with a United States visa, or they have an issue getting a Schengen visa longer than a year. And so you develop a good connection to the people and you start traveling to these countries. With a physical presence, they are more likely to introduce you to their friends and family. And while one after the other, a hub can be produced, since there is a demand, and an office will follow.
It sounds so simple when you say it. You know, it sounds like, of course, that's so obvious. But I think there's, in terms of the execution, not all of us can do that. So again, I commend your dedication and focus. So in terms of, you service CBI clients all over the world, and you handle CBI processes, not just with the E2 countries, but non-E2 treaty countries as well. So what are the most popular ultimate destinations? And before we get to that, would you say, in terms of what you're seeing, what is the mix of investors who just want that second passport for its own sake, because it allows for visa-free travel? And what percentage or proportion are looking to get that second passport as a vehicle to some other goal, like perhaps residency in the United States or some other goal?
I would say a huge majority of 70 to 80% of the clients are mainly looking as the very first goal to satisfy is as a visa-free travel document to get hassle-free to Europe, or let's say easier to obtain a United States visa or travel to visa-free to Russia, for example. This is their main goal. But only 20 to 30% are looking for a main step, for example, to tax optimization, relocation to the United States through the E2, or like a second residence in Portugal or Greece, while the demand there is significantly lower compared to the visa-free travel benefit.
Gosh, that's very, very, very interesting. So they're really mostly looking for visa-free travel for business and personal reasons. Okay. And then among the 20 or so percent of investors who are looking for another ultimate destination, how does the United States place is really my question, but how do the ultimate destinations rank? Is it like UK, Australia, the United States, somewhere else? How does that rank?
So of course, not to misunderstand, the United States is a huge dream for many of our clients, especially the West Africans. We have many Nigerians, since, for example, in Nigeria, every meeting we have is pure focus on the United States. They wish to send their children to study there, open an office in the States, or even relocate in the near future, which means in the next few years or months, to the United States. And this is how we can assist, mainly with the E2 treaty visa. While, not to forget, all the citizenship, the second passports, the majority of them are British Commonwealth countries. Yeah. So some also are interested in the United Kingdom, and that's why I placed the UK on the second place in terms of easy access to the UK, while you can stay with a British Commonwealth passport 6 out of 12 months per year in the UK, and easily send your children, for example, to study and to university.
Very interesting information. And yeah, there is incredible energy, would you say, in Nigeria right now? There's this incredible undercurrent of entrepreneurial energy. There's a lot of wealth that's growing, and they're on the move for sure.
I agree.
Yeah. What are you seeing in terms of changes over time? I mean, you know, you and your partners are youthful, but you've been doing this for a very long time, relatively. What are some of the trends you're seeing, and how has COVID changed that trend trajectory?
So it always really depends on what is the most interesting program, because from time to time, certain citizenship investment programs and countries, they implement limited time offers. So they say we offer now a financial discount of $30,000 or $45,000, and then the majority of the people directly decide to go for this country, since for more or less the same benefits, they get a cheaper price. And this is where we see always a little bit the demand. While at the moment, it's definitely St. Kitts and Nevis, a British Commonwealth country located in the Caribbean, which is at the moment in higher demand, while every year it's more or less another country.
That is fascinating. I did not know that. So these programs are competing with each other, and they'll have special offers from time to time.
Correct.
That's fascinating. Mm-hmm. Now, Benjamin, as you know, EB5 is where I grew my wings and really, you know, started my career, and I'm very much in it still, for sure. How have you seen in your business the impact of EB5, or no? Because the EB5 industry itself, you know, had a tremendous growth trajectory within about a 4 to 6 year period, from 2009 to 2017. So an 8-year growth trajectory. And then since then, with COVID and with legislative changes and with the increase in the investment amounts, we've experienced a lot in EB5 in the last couple of years. And what I don't know is, it's huge for me and for EB5. How is that experienced in the worldwide CBI market? Is it like, you know, it's just another thing in the landscape, or does it have a big impact?
No, it definitely has an impact into the demand of having a second citizenship, who avails them the benefit of holding the right to apply for the so-called E2 treaty visa to the United States.
How? What's the connection there?
Because the investors, you need to see it in the eyes of the investors. The investors, the fluctuation in the EB5 in terms of 500,000, 900,000, 500,000, a waiting list of perhaps a couple of years, a long procedure time frame with detailed documentation, while the other programs, now I speak of Malta in the European Union and Grenada Abuja, a British Commonwealth country in the Caribbean. Both countries enjoy the benefit of the E2 visa, and these countries have a very straightforward procedure, a clear requirements of documents, and the client knows what's the time frame, when will I be citizen of this country if they grant it to me, if I get approved. So the ease of the client, this is a big benefit, and we can clearly tell them, look, these are the steps, this needs to be done, this needs to be invested or contributed in order to be eligible and apply for the E2, which I would say, out of my honest and personal opinion, also is a little bit more straightforward compared to the strong EB5.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm hearing that there is, in fact, a direct correlation between what is happening in the EB5 space and what's happening in E2 and in demand for other countries' visas as well. So as EB5 gets more difficult, then the other programs look more attractive.
E2 races in demand.
Yeah, yeah.
I can definitely agree with that. Especially also, the E2 is more what I see now in terms of my clients. Many clients are interested for the E2 since they have their business and nature of business in their home country, and they usually look to send their children to study or easily enter the United States multiple times per year, or having a plan B, which is the major point, to any time in the future benefit of this E2 and relocate to the United States.
Yeah, and the E2 allows them to do that more quickly as well.
Correct.
Yeah, yep. All right, so we've covered good ground here, Benjamin. Let's talk a little bit about, and you've already touched on this in several different ways, but the characteristics of our CBI client, CBI to E2 or just CBI client. What are their, and of course they're going to be very diverse. And if you want to speak to some of those interesting cases, the unusual outliers, that would be fascinating to hear. But what is the general profile? What do they want? What's their age group, their basic demographic? Who are these world travelers?
I would say the majority of our clients is actually a family, is a main applicant, usually a husband who has a big business in any kind of business you could imagine, either the biggest sugar dealer in the world, shipment, fish, electronics, oil and gas, anything what you literally could imagine. And they have their business quite successfully, of course, in order to afford such as a citizenship investment programs in their home country, wherever this might be, in Africa, in Asia, in the Middle East, operating the business successfully still there, but they mainly seek for their family, for the children, and all future generations, a strong plan B and a hassle-free travel document to ease going around the world, attending business meetings, go for university abroad, etc., make life easier for their family. This is the major point of a concern.
Sounds very, very familiar. And so this is your client. And what would you say is Passport Legacy's, your approach to client service? Again, you've touched on this and I have as well, but speak a little bit more about it. A prospective client or family is meeting you for the first time. You know, what are the questions that are going through your mind? What's your approach to working with this client? Especially, you know, maybe more interestingly at that early stage. What are the questions you're asking yourself?
The main question I'm now personally asking myself is, how can I help this person, and why is this person today in this meeting? What is their issue? What are they suffering from, or what would like they to achieve with a second residency or a second citizenship? And that's why I usually start with the questions. How can I help you? What are you looking forward to achieve with a second investment in a country to get the passport or the residency. And then I elaborate on, is it the United States? Is it a country which they can travel visa-free around the world to most of the countries? Or is it a residency in Europe? So we always usually find a solution which is very, very suitable for the client in order to make him happy, not for the next 2-3 years, sondern for the rest of his life.
Again, it just sounds so simple, and yet it's very, very elegant. And I know that that you live this in your professional life.
Definitely, definitely.
So I want to close our fantastic interview with a way for prospective investors and those who want to get to know you a little better and Passport better, a way for them to get in touch with you. So will you please give us your email, and I will see if I can share this through chat. And of course, we will have this out on our media as well.
Very good. There will be, of course, a big pleasure to assist anybody with more detailed information.
And is there like an info@Passport Legacy email?
That's correct. It's info@passportlegacy.com.
And it's all one word, right?
Yes, correct.
And I just sent it out by chat, and we will be sending.
That's correct.
With a copy of our video as well. Benjamin, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure as always.
Thank you, Caroline. It was a big pleasure having the discussion. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for joining and taking me for this discussion. It was a big pleasure. Wishing you a great day ahead.
And wishing you a wonderful evening in Dubai. Safe travels.
Thank you so much, Caroline. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And goodbye to our audience. We'll see you soon.
Bye.